Water is the most important ecological factor in the life of an organism. The amount of rainfall greatly influences the vegetation. Warming classified plant communities on the basis of the dependence and the relation of plants to water. So, based on this, warming classified all the plant communities into three major ecological groups. The first are the hydrophytes, which live either partly or wholly submerged in water, or they grow in the wet places. Then the xerophytes, which live in habitat which is deficient in water, or they grow in soil which is physiologically dry. Then the mesophytes, which live in habitat with moderate supply of water. So in this presentation I will be explaining about the hydrophytes. So as I have discussed, the hydrophytes are the plant that grow in water or in very wet places. These hydrophytes have been classified into different types. The first are the free floating hydrophytes, the second are the rooted hydrophytes with floating leaves, then the submerged suspended hydrophytes, then submerged rooted hydrophytes, then rooted emergent hydrophytes, and last is the amphibious plants. Free floating hydrophytes. This plant, they float freely on water surface and they have no contact with the soil. Means these plants roots are not attached to the soil in the water body. So they are in contact with both water and air, but they do not have any contact with the soil. So examples of free floating hydrophytes are Eichhornia, Pistia, Ulfia. So these are the Eichhornia and the Pistia plants. The rooted hydrophytes with floating leaves. They float on the surface of the water, but they remain attached to the substratum by their roots. So their roots are fixed in the substratum, but the leaves and the flowers, they have long petiole which keep them floating on the surface of the water. The examples of these types are the nymphia and the Nelumbo. So this is the nymphia and the Nelumbo plants. So you can see here they are fixed to the substratum and they have the long petioles which with the help of which the leaves they float on the surface of water. Then comes the submerged suspended hydrophytes. These plants are in contact with only water. They are completely submerged in water, but they are not rooted in the substratum. Means these plants are not fixed in the substratum, but they remain submerged in the water at different depths. So examples are Ceratophyllum and Nazas. Then comes the submerged rooted hydrophytes. These plants are completely submerged in water, but they are also attached to the muddy substratum with the help of their roots. So examples of these plants are Potamogeton, Vallisneria and Hydrilla. Then comes the rooted emergent hydrophytes. These plants grow in shallow waters. They live partly in water and partly in air, and they are rooted in the soil. The examples are Ranunculus and Typha. These plants are adapted to both the aquatic as well as terrestrial modes of life. The last one are the amphibious rooted hydrophytes. So they grow around the water bodies in which with the water current occasionally touching them, but they are rooted in the soil and they can also survive some dry periods. So examples are Marsilia and Polygonum. So this is the Marsillia plant. Now I will be discussing about the ecological adaptations of these hydrophytes. First, the morphological characters. The roots are very poorly developed in the hydrophytes, as the plants are mostly they grow in the water, and from the whole general surface of the hydrophytes they absorb the water and gaseous, so their root system is very poorly developed. And if at all the roots are present, the roots are fibrous, and then they are adventitious roots, and mostly they are poorly branched. And roots are absent in Ceratophyllum and Wolffia. The root hairs are also absent in the hydrophyte plants, and the root caps are also absent in the hydrophyte plants. But in plants like Eichhornia and Pisthia, which have balancing roots, the root, instead of root caps, they have root pockets. So here you can see they have these root pockets. The roots of Jassia are of two types. So they have normal adventitious roots which they grow in the submerged water, and they have the floating aerial roots which are negatively geotropic and are respiratory roots. So these are the respiratory roots which grow above the surface of the water, which are negatively geotropic. So this is in the Jassia repens. Then coming to the leaves are thin, long and ribbon-like. So here you can see in Vallisneria the leaves are ribbon-like, and in Ceratophyllum and Ranunculus the leaves are dissected. So these dissected leaves, they offer less resistance to the stress and strain of water current. The leaves in the Nymphia and Nelumbo, which have the floating leaves, they are large and flat, and with their upper surface or upper epidermis is coated with the wax. The petioles of these plants are also long, and they are flexible and covered with mucilage, so that they can adapt to the various depths of water, and thus they keep their lamina on the surface of the water. So here you can see in the Nelumbo the petioles are very long and flexible. Whereas in Eichhornia the petiole is bulbous, that is, it is swollen. The leaves in Ranunculus and Sagittaria show the heterophily condition. Presence of more than one type of one type of leaves in a plant is called as the heterophily. Normally we see that a plant consists of only one type of leaves, but in this Ranunculus and Sagittaria they show the presence of more than one type of leaves, hence this condition is called heterophily. So in this, the leaves that are present below water are narrow, long and dissected, whereas the leaves that are present above the water surface are broad, small, and they show the entire leaf margin. Now coming to the anatomical characters. One of the most outstanding peculiarities of water plants is the sponginess of their tissue. The sponginess is due to the disintegration or the separation of the groups which forms large cavities or which form large intercellular spaces which is filled with the air. So in these plants the large intercellular spaces are formed by the parenchyma, hence this tissue is called as the aerenchyma. So you can see in the picture, so the parenchyma cells are forming large air cavities which are called as the aerenchyma. this parenchyma, they help in the buoyancy and also they facilitate in the gaseous exchange during the respiration. This intercellular spaces retain some of the oxygen liberated from the photosynthesis, and this oxygen is utilized in respiration. And in the night, a part of carbon dioxide may accumulated in this air cavities, and it is used in the photosynthesis in the daytime. Next, we see the reduction of the protecting structures in the hydrophytes. So first, the epidermis in hydrophytes is not a protective layer, as the epidermal cells are very thin walled. This epidermis is more useful for absorption and assimilation, as the cells contain the chloroplast. The cuticle is also absent in this plant, and if at all the epidermis has cuticle, it is very thin. And there are no stomata present in the hydrophytes, but in Potamogeton we see the presence of stomata which are non-functional, whereas in the floating leaves like Nilambo, they have the stomata on the upper surface of the epidermis, that is the stomata are present on the upper epidermis. So this condition is called as epistomatous condition. So Nilambo show the epistomatous condition, that is the stomata are present on the upper epidermis only. And coming to the mesophyll tissue, the mesophyll tissue is not differentiated into the palisade and spongy parenchyma. So mostly the leaves are isobilateral. There is a reduction of the mechanical tissue, as the plants are not generally subjected to the stress and strain. The mechanical tissues like the collenchyma and sclerenchyma are more or less absent. And there is reduction in the conducting tissue. The conducting tissue is also poorly developed because of more floating power of water than that of air. So the xylem is very poorly developed in this plant, as the plant, the whole surface of the plant can absorb water. So xylem is very poorly developed in the hydrophytes. And however, phloem is comparatively better developed. The parenchyma cells, they absorb the water, as they are present in the water, they are always filled with water, so they always show the turgidity, and because of this turgidity of the parenchyma cell, the plant shows the rigidity, and there is no secondary growth in the hydrophytes.